Hey everyone, thank you for joining me on another Brooklyn Baritone podcast on another beautiful day. But whatever part of the day you choose to join me, morning, afternoon, evening, late night, nighttime, it doesn't matter. I appreciate the likes, the looks, the listens. But of course, I'd appreciate you hitting that subscribe and notification bell on my YouTube channel, Brooklyn Baritone. Do that with no pressure whatsoever, even though I still like your company. Going straight into it. The reverence of Yah is the beginning of wisdom. That's Proverbs chapter 9, verse 10. The reason I'm starting off with this is that we will always be playing catch up in life simply because we choose to step away from Yah. Because Yah is life itself. So that we step away from Him, we stepping out of sync with life. All the information, all the guidance, all the wisdom is laid out for us here. But we think we could do better. Some people just have pride. They think we could do better. And some people just aren't raised up or even made knowledge or knowledgeable of these things because of the practices of society and societal norms. A good example of following guidance, I'm going to lean on my own personal military experience. So when I was in the military, I worked on a lot of different powered and non-powered equipment that we use to service aircraft and on the flight line. Now we had to do regular repairs and maintenance, and we had to follow a publication called a TO, short for technical order. This basically was the book that had everything that you needed, all the parts, when to fix things, how to fix things, what kind of torque wrench you need, what kind of screws you need, whatever it was that was needed, it was there. We had to follow it to a T. Now, of course, there are times where me, myself, and other people were knowledgeable enough through repetitious experience where we know, okay, we have an idea of what to do, but we had to follow that to the T. Because if we didn't follow that book to the T, that could cause more man hours. We cause damage to the equipment because we used the wrong type of tool, we used the wrong kind of equipment. So you need your own man hours or someone else now to step in to fix your issue, or you do the wrong thing, use the wrong thing, it'll cause damage to the equipment. Now that equipment isn't serviceable and it's out of service, now it can't be used for the mission or for whatever purposes. So now that's costing money and time. Worst case scenario is that you're messed up by not following the guidelines that's laid out for you in the TO can cause death. It has happened, unfortunately, not around me or my people in my shop, thankfully. But that's just a quick example of how we should always follow guidance and best believe in our training. They not just showed us what to do, how to do it, but also what happens when you don't follow things, the pitfalls of it. So just like how the book is, it'll show us our history of not following Yah, of not following the word, what happens when we don't follow, what happens when we do follow. Now, for relationships, we tend to follow influencers. They're people just like us. So people cause issues, and we look to people to fix our issues. Now, these influencers, they promote a lot of division and selfishness. It may sound good, but that's really to the core what it is. We would listen to Kevin Samuels, to a Kendra G, to a Derek Jackson, to a Andrew Tate. The list goes on and on and on. Meanwhile, the word tells us on how to have a proper relationship. Okay. Few examples, but the assembly, the church body, is subject to Mashiach. So let the wives be to their husbands in every respect. But as the assembly is subject to Mashiach, so also let the wives be to their own husbands in every respect. So just as the church is to Mashiach, to Yahusha, that's how the wives are supposed to be. Husbands, love your wives as Mashiach also loved the assembly and gave himself for it. This is in Ephesians 5. It's a relationship. Another example of how to deal with people: respect your father and your mother. Do not covet your neighbor's house. Do not covet your neighbor's wife or your neighbor's things, his or her things, whatever it is. This is how we're supposed to deal with each other. Fathers, do not provoke your children, lest they become discouraged. Now, it's not just fathers and mothers, too, with parents. These are quick examples of what we felt we could do better. As you can see, this is what is laid out. And if you can listen to it and actually have a little bit of humility, you see this actually makes sense. Everything that we've done away from that causes nothing but issues. We have plenty of examples right now, live and in living color receipts as to what happens when we do step away from guidance like this. And you know me, I like to go through things with science and everything. I understand that a lot of mainstream science is really pseudoscience, but a lot of mainstream science would have you think anything that disagrees with what they say is pseudoscience. And unfortunately, we base a lot of what our societal norms is based on what these guys say. Anyways, most of what was taught as truth has always changed. So whenever we figure something, this is what it is scientifically, and then 5 years later we find out it's different. So the ground has shifted, and then 10 years later it's something totally gone. So whatever we believe 5, 10 years ago is not even there anymore. So it's constantly shifting. So there's no way to possibly build a proper foundation when the foundation is always changing and moving. You can't have a stable existence to go forward. The truth has always changed as time progresses or is exposed as being false. One example is carbon dating. It's nowhere near as reliable as we're told. See, this assumes, which I believe I'm saying it right, that C14 in the atmosphere is the same as it is now as it was 500, 1,000, 2,000 years ago, and the same C14 in organic material. This is how they try to calculate how old something is. One example that they would never tell you, you have to dig and find this. In 1971, Victoria Land, Antarctica. A freshly killed seal was carbon dated to have been 1,300 years old. So in Antarctica, a seal that was freshly killed, the seal came up to be 1,300 years old. So these are the things, the inconsistencies that happen that kind of they downplay it. They'll tell you of everything else, but they won't tell you the actual reality of what we think is our reality, what we think is science, and it's not, because we're still playing catch up. We're still going our own way and thinking we could uncover things on our own. We didn't make any of this stuff. Yeah, Almighty did. And He told us how to engage in this world, how to live. Too many of us put our trust in these sciences that's always shifting. So if we have a foundation that's always shifting, or even the ground goes out from under us, what do you think is going to happen with us? Even though we are out of sync with Yah, He's still here. He's waiting for us. He's patient. Now, tomorrow is not promised to everyone, but it is saying it was not promised to anyone. But the thing is, He's waiting. He's not going to force you. He's not going to trick you. He's not going to try and find a way to manipulate you. He wants you to get back in sync with Him, because He is life. He made us for a purpose. Sometimes that purpose escapes us, but everything is in the guidance. Just like how we have the guidance in the military, our technical order, this is our technical order for life. It tells us everything we need to know. We don't need to go to other people that's still trying to figure it out. If anyone else, anything else is pulling you away from Yah Almighty, He made everything, then how effective do you think they'll be? Because they're still trying to figure it out. And they'll have you stumbling in the dark as well. That's all I wanted to cover. If you want to go and catch more of my content and other things and merch, you could go to my website at brooklynbaritone.com. You could catch more of my video content on my YouTube channel, Brooklyn Baritone. I got some stuff on Rumble as well. I'm also on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. You can find the audio versions of these podcasts on Google, Amazon, and Apple. I air 4 times a week on Brooklyn Cable Television on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 12 a.m. and 2 p.m. on Verizon, Optimum, RCN Spectrum. Thank you guys for listening. I appreciate the views. I appreciate the company. I want you guys to be blessed. Walk good. I'm out.